Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. I am excited to be back here live with you, back from a little break myself, recharging my own inner battery and um, getting some ideas and inspiration. And we are flowing through Scorpio season, and I am looking forward to diving into today's topic with you as we journey with all of the things that we can get curious about during Scorpio season. And this is one of those times when I really want to invite you to embrace the alchemy. What is it in your business or in your life that may benefit from a bit of curiosity, and where might you want to transform the story you're telling yourself? So today, one of the stories I know that gets we tell ourselves often is about needing to be on purpose all the time, on our path, doing all the right things, moving the meter forward. And the truth is that our path, our purpose, all of those things take twists and turns. It is not a direct A to B um, line as much as we might want it to be. We each have our own rhythm, are each working in our own time. So that the challenge is when those voices in your head come up, right? I know them very well myself. Like, you should be farther along by now. You should be doing more of this. You should be showing up. It's all of the shoulding ourselves that happens on a regular basis. So, how do we, dial down that knob on the pressure cooker? How do we give ourselves permission to know that there's it is a journey? Um, I think one of the most important things we can do is tune out the people that are telling us those stories that, that it's just this quick and it happens this way and got to do these things. Surround yourself with people, with community who are cheerleading you on and who are helping you to embrace your unique way of being and doing in the world. So that's number one, because what I know is there's not a single right path. There's not a single right way to get where you desire to go. There's a lot of choices along the way that we get to make, and each one of those choices, even if it feels like we've failed forward in some way, it's forward movement. We've learned something. We can gather data, learn about ourselves, know what it's about creating contrast. If we didn't have contrast, we wouldn't know what we like and what we dislike, what works and what doesn't work. And I think the beautiful gift of being an entrepreneur is the opportunity to try things, to test things, to discover what really works. If we create in a vacuum, then we are, making assumptions without any real world data. And that real world data is really powerful. And it allows us to, adjust, revise, revisit, review, and then move the meter forward in a way that is going to give us leaps and bounds versus, steps, because we've got some data. So, and the other piece is really honoring and understanding that you have your own rhythm. You've got your own innate rhythm and flow that is different than mine, that is different from anyone else's. And that unique signature means that, you need to work in your own time, your own rhythm, your own way. And so I think when we can really honor and accept that and learn about ourselves, I think one of the biggest gifts to me in astrology and working with the cycles, and the reason I'm so passionate about it, is because it gives us an opportunity to tune in to our own unique innate rhythms. It gives us a lens and a framework within which to do that. When we work in cycles, when we take those intentional pauses, when we align our energy with a flow versus trying to be productive all the time, we can really learn where our own unique rhythm is. and not feel guilty or beat up on ourselves because we're not in the doing all the time. So, you know, how can you examine those little voices if you have them in your head pressuring you or making you think you're not far enough along, that little voice of judgment? How do you shush it? I think the best way to shush it is to really own and honor the fact that you have your way. And just because someone else out there appears to have done things faster or is having more success, doesn't mean that you are behind the eight ball. It doesn't mean that you aren't making your progress. There's always so much happening underneath the surface, and so much that we are uncovering and revealing with every step of the journey. And it's just that it's a journey. And how can you enjoy the journey? How can you release the pressure on yourself? One of my clients yesterday, who's a part of the Alchemy Lab, she was just talking about how much less pressure she feels now and how she is able to embrace, the energy. We're in that Mars energy. Maybe we're feeling a little less motivated, and she's not beating up on herself. She is very much a doer. And if she wasn't doing, then she was judging herself. And now she sees and understands there's a rhythm and a cycle that she can work with, and she's happier. She's making more connections. So much happens when we release ourselves from a set standard or a set way of doing and being that we think is right. And when we really step into our way being right. So I just wanted to pop in today with that message and I know there's a lot of energy right now. We're coming off of an eclipse. We've got a lot of energy in Scorpio right now. And so there is this underneath, there's these currents flowing. And one of the things that can come up is that self-judgment and that voice. And so I just want you to, what I do is acknowledge the voice and then ask the question, what's true about that? And really celebrate. We did a lot of yesterday in the lab celebrating the progress that everyone has made. Celebrate your wins. They are on the regular, no matter if they're big or they're small. They're important, and they're giving you forward momentum on your journey. So that is my invitation to you, my friends. Know, as always, there's not just one way, there's your way. And when you can know that future vision that you have for yourself, not necessarily the number of clients, the amount of money, but really when you tap into and focus, how do you want to be feeling? How do you want to be experiencing your life day in and day out? When you use that as your guidepost, then the other pieces of how you get to those more practical things will fall into place. Use that lens as a filter, and then follow your own flow, follow your own rhythm. And like I said, the astrology using the lunar cycles and the bigger solar cycles is a pretty powerful way to create guidance for you with that, to give you some structure. And if you're curious about more of that, drop me a message. Let me know. I can share with you some other resources. There's lots of great resources in the Heart Powered Coaches and Healers Collective around cycles and working with cycles. And I invite you to get curious about it because it is transformational for you and your business if you're not already doing that. So with that, I just want to remind you that, as always, all it takes is a little bit of heart power, and I will see you soon.